Okay, so this is my late February, early March update. The 18 that I had in the last video that were still in gray primer and partially painted are now done. And I just did 4 more today. You can see them primed right there. And I did those 4 because I want to finish up my section for the Queen's Own Corps of Guides. They were easy to paint up and I think they look pretty good. I'm happy with them. But I realized in my earlier videos, I didn't actually explain the army that I was doing at all, really. And the army that I'm doing is based off of the first Miranzai expedition. So it's the first Miranzai Field Force #1 column. And the unit I chose to represent 2 units from that column, the 23rd Bengal Infantry Pioneers, the 23rd Sikh Pioneers, and the #4 Hazara Mountain Battery. And those are those 2 7-pound guns. And really the reason I chose them was based off of obviously the color scheme I liked, and then the figures I had available to me. And so most of the Sikhs that make up my 23rd Sikh Pioneers, they're Darkest Africa Sikhs from the Darkest Africa line. And so they have Martini Henrys, which makes them good for the 1890s, which covers really 3 campaigns. The 1891 First Miranzai Expedition, the 1895 Chitral Expedition, and the Waziristan blockade that took place in 1900 to 1901. Now, for the Chitral campaign in 1895, the 23rd Sikhs, the regiment is not credited for it. They're not given participation credit for that campaign, but detachments from the regiment did serve in the campaign. And during the Chitral expedition, they're involved in widening the old Greco-Buddhist roads, and they're fighting their way up the roads as they improve them, because the Chitralis are taking shots at them and they're resisting. And so that's the unit I chose. They're a very good representation for the 1890s, those Darkest Africa figures. And if I can, and you can actually see it, you can see some of these guys here, like this guy and that guy, are actually from the Northwest Frontier line, from War Games Foundry, but they blend really well. And the guy with the rifle, and I would assume the other poses, they're actually about the same height as the Darkest Africa Sikhs. Now, this NCO figure with his hand up, he's a little bit shorter, but I have 48 of them. So if I have one guy that's shorter and they vary in height, well, that's pretty realistic. And the sculpting style is the same. The equipment is of the same type. They're all armed with Martini Henrys, and so I'm very happy with that. Now, the 2 artisan field guns, I could only get those Indian gun crews with the 2.5-inch guns. But what I did was I bought British South Africa Company gun crews with 7-pounders, and I swapped out the guns because I'm going to use the BSEC 7-pound crews. Then the 2.5-inch mountain guns, and I'm going to try to rebuild those guns on field carriages to represent the Natal Field Battery for the Second Anglo-Boer War. And so it worked out fine, and those 2 7-pounders will work for me. And the 7-pounders, I believe, would have been used by this battery straight up through about 1900 or so, probably after that. And I know you'll see 7-pound muzzle loaders in India into the 1930s, in smaller amounts. So it works. But those are those 4 units in the back. Those four sections of Sikhs and those two Indian mountain guns on the side. I did the section for the Corps of Guides for Chitral in 1895, really just because I like how the guides look. I didn't necessarily need to do them. They're simple to paint. The red cool is simple. It sets them apart. And I did the British 2.5-inch screw gun. I like the model, and so I did it. But it would actually work for the Chitral expedition. The 5-inch breech loading howitzer is actually for the Boer War. It's not that it's I've painted it so it's with my Indian troops, but it's not going to be used for that. I just like the gun. It's from actual size miniatures. It's a resin print, and I just thought it looked good. And yeah, there's no other reason for that. And the 4 Sikhs right here, the last 4 in this guide section, they're standing in. They're not actually going to be used with the Corps of Guides. I painted those guys way early because I'm not even started yet, but I'm going to use those guys as NCOs for my Central Africa regiment, the Central Africa Rifles. Because each company would have 1 British officer, 4 Sikh NCOs, I believe 4 African sergeants, and 4 African corporals. So I have those 4 Sikhs will work fine, and they were just in khaki, armed with Snyders, all the way up through about 1900 or 1901 when the regiment switched over to Martini Enfields. And so they'll work for those early campaigns for the Central African Rifles. But that's what I did. I'm gonna try to zoom a little bit in think I can do one more and actually move some of these figures I painted. I tried out some new foliage that I got on Amazon pretty cheap. And this guy is super clear. I can't zoom in any more than I am, or I can put him here. I'm trying not to drop him, but uh, have four different types. I have wasteland tufts, mountain tufts from Army Painter. I have some static grass you can see right here in the middle, and I got this kind of greenish yellow tuft off the Amazon. They're Chinese, like no kind of no brand name, generic. But I think it works out pretty good. Now four different types of grass on the front of a figure may look weird, but he's the only one like that. I think it looks okay, and he's got a little stone there. Kind of gives him like a little horseshoe of stuff that he's standing in, makes the base more interesting. And I did my core of guides, and I don't know if it really shows up well. I'll see if I can focus. I highlighted the Kulas with a lighter red, and I can see it. It sort of shows up for me. I don't know if it exactly shows up. And get this guy out of the way. I don't know if it exactly shows up uh, on the camera, but if you put a few down, maybe you'll see them a little bit better. I'm really happy with these figures. I really am. They painted up easy. They didn't have very many straps, and so they turned out really well. Really simple to paint. And the ones that I'm actually going to be painting up, got the models last night in the white, and I immediately cleaned them up and got them ready to be based and primed them this morning. I even started on painting them. They should be super easy to paint because they don't even have haversacks. They just have the leather. I'll have to do black for the mustache and then gunmetal. And then I'll just have to clean them up with khaki, express paint them, highlight them, and varnish them. Then do the metal. I mean, I should have them done within the week. These four, and I just wanted to rush these four out because I'm going on vacation. I'm going to Buenos Aires on the 8th, and I don't want to leave a section unfinished. God forbid something happens to me. Whoever gets the army will have at least complete sections and no partially painted models. That's stupid, but it worries me. And so that's kind of my update. But these tufts from Amazon, these no-name generic kind of green, half yellow tufts, I like them a lot. I mean, they're really malleable. A lot of times when you get the generic Amazon tufts, they're super stiff. It's almost like they're glued with hard glue or something. But these ones are great. I mean, they worked great. I'd recommend them over the Army Painter tufts, and I really like those because these actually have a lot more regular shape too. I don't know why Army Painter doesn't do that. They just have three different sizes and no irregular shapes, and that just doesn't look great to me. But overall, I'm pretty happy. The only thing I'm debating now is I have most of a section of War Games Foundry Darkest Africa Sikhs. I have 10. Well, really, I have 9, and I have one of the officers from the Northwest Frontier line. I need to get 2 more because I thought about filling a section up the last 2 and maybe moving around some guys and just having 2 British officers, but I don't want to have 60 guys from one regiment and 5 officers. That doesn't add up for me. I don't want to have any more than 3, so 1 British officer and 2 Indians. So I need to find 2 more Sikhs, but really I was also wondering what's the likelihood of me ever painting or ever using in a game more than 4 sections of infantry from one regiment without using in the artillery. So 5 sections of guys from the 23rd, Sikh Pioneers. Would I ever use that? It would look good on a shelf, but would I ever use it? And I don't know that I would. So I'm thinking about painting them as another regiment, but I don't know if I'd regret that. It looks very impressive when you have a lot of guys from the same regiment, but you do get somewhat bored. So I still have to decide what I want to do with that section. I actually have to get two more Sikhs to finish, and I really don't want to buy a pack because if I buy another pack, then I'll have like 6 loose, and I want to do something with them, and I'll get another pack to finish them, and it snowballs and so on and so forth. I hate having loose riflemen around. I can have loose officers in the lead pile, but loose infantrymen I can't do. It drives me crazy. So got to figure out what I want to do with that, and then I still have 2 sections of Gurkhas that they should paint up easy, but man, it just when you have 24 to do it in one shot. For some people, it's easy; they can just blow through armies. But I can't. I mean, I have to work on them every day, and I do a little bit every day. You can see, I just did the straps on one guy today, and so if I do that every 4 days, at least I got something done. Is the way I look at it. But yeah, if I do I want to do 24 more Gurkhas before I'm out of here in May? I don't know. Maybe it's possible. And a friend was telling me I need to add some actual British infantry to my army, and I do plan on doing that. And uh, I think I may do, King's Royal Rifle Corps, like for First Battalion King's Royal Rifle Corps. I like the black leather. I think it looks good, and so I may do those guys to add at least one section of British infantry to my army. But if you have any comments, or especially with my Civil War videos, I don't know if anyone's finding those useful. I don't war game American Civil War, but I reenacted it for a long time, and so I do know quite a bit about uniforms, any federal uniforms in general. I know a lot about Zouave uniforms. For the Confederate uniforms, I mostly only know the Army of Northern Virginia. I have some general knowledge for some of the other Confederate field armies, but with Confederate stuff, it is a lot more regional as to what the depots are producing. Union troops basically, with some exceptions, they look the same everywhere you go. You'll have some regional items or regional units that you'll see with their own unique uniform items, but for the most part, you can get away with your normal infantry can be in blue and hats or caps. For Confederate troops, it's a little bit different. So if anyone likes those, let me know if you want me to keep making them. I've been thinking about making one for the ANV, late war Army of Northern Virginia, but it's a bit of an undertaking because I want to try to do justice to it. So let me know what you think, and that's my end of February update. Beginning of March, what I got planned is only just those 4 guides to knock out. So let me know, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.